Hi everyone, Mr. Round here. I am going to be your sixth grade band teacher this year. Now, of course, with this COVID-19 stuff, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. Normally, we would be all gathered together in the band room and I would be helping you out individually. Well, that's not how it's going to work this year. It's going to be a little bit different. And we are going to do our best to just kind of get through the time right now here and try to learn what we can through this kind of setup here with video. And there will also be times when we can also chat through Google Meet. So that will be another option that we can do this year. So um, right now, what we're going to do is I hope that everybody went and got their instrument. Either you're possibly renting through Schmidt Music on a 4-month trial plan, or else you might have gotten a flute from somebody, I don't know, family member, friend, or whatever. But however you got your flute, hopefully you have that right now so that you can do the first things here now and we can start learning how to play it. So number one, first thing you need to do is you need to be able to open up your case in a way that doesn't have it go falling all over the place. That's one thing that flute players have a lot of. They end up having things fall all over the floor, and that causes frustration right away. It's gonna possibly put a mark in your flute, like you might dent it or something. So we want to make sure we open it up correctly. So right now with my flute case, you'll notice that they have some some straps here or buckles. When I open it up, I gotta lift up, okay, like that, because that way, when I do, then it's just the top that goes up. Okay, now if you go this way, we got a problem, because if I lift this and this, everything goes falling out on the floor. So you gotta make sure that you're doing it the right way, okay? Now some of you might have some a way out where you have to push a button like this way, okay? That if you have a case like that, you want to make sure that when you're opening it up, you're really careful not to have it go spill all over the place. So just watch that if you have those kinds of buckles on your flute. The other thing that you want to make sure that you do is you want to have a name tag on your flute. Now, if you rented through Schmidt Music, that would automatically be there. Here is a tag, for instance, like from Schmidt Music here, where you can put all your information on there. And that way, if you ever need a repair, they'll know whose flute it is, and they will contact you and fill you in on how the repair is going and all that kind of stuff. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our flute case on our lap. You can't see my lap here. Maybe I should get this to where you can see. Okay. Okay, so we're going to put the flute case on our lap, and we're going to open up the buckles, and we're going to open it up. And there are 3 parts to the flute. This is the body of the flute. This is called the head joint. That's the place where you're going to blow. And this is called the foot joint. Okay, and right now, all we're going to do is focus on the head joint, just making some sound on this particular piece. So take that out of your case. Go ahead and lock it back up. Put your case down, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take our right hand and we're going to put it over that hole like this. Okay, now if you do that, it kind of makes a funny sound. Okay, now the way we get a sound is kind of like if we're blowing across a pop bottle. So we want the air to go across the top, and a little bit of the air goes down into the hole. Okay, so if you look at your flute, there's a small part right here, right? And then there's the big part, okay? The bigger part, that's where your lip is it's gonna go on your lip. All right, so first of all, what we do is we're gonna say the letter M, and then you're gonna say poo, poo. Now when you say poo, it kind of firms up right around here, your muscles a little bit. If you have a dimple, it might be a dimple that will show up right there. You say poo, poo. Okay. Now, as you know, your lip curls out when you do this. Now, one thing I'm going to recommend is that you use a mirror. I mean, seriously, you need to look and see once if you're doing exactly what we need to do. So, looking in a mirror and going poo, and checking to see if you're doing that right is very important. Okay, when you say poo, poo, notice that I have a pretty circular hole when I say poo, poo, poo. Okay, we don't want to go poop. You know, we don't want to have our lips wide open like that. You want to like that. It's kind of like, I kind of call it like the fish kiss. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put our right hand on this, the hole down here, and then we're going to rest the flute right underneath our lip there. Okay, now if you kind of touch here, you'll notice, okay, my lip is kind of curled over a little bit of that edge, and then on this edge it's gonna blow across that edge there. Okay, so I'm gonna say poo, and put it right there, cover this up, and keep it nice and firm right here. Now, if you look really closely, you'll notice the hole that I'm blowing out of is going directly into the hole of the flute there. Now, if it's over here, like my lips are here, blowing here, and if the flute thing is over there too far, it won't make any sound. It's got to be kind of lined up, like the hole of the flute's got to be lined up right with your nose and with where the air comes out. Now, one thing you need to know is that if you say M and poo, and the hole that you make, it comes over off to the side of your lip, like some of you might have that happen. I mean, if you have a kind of a lip that droops down a little bit right here, you might get air coming out a little bit off to the side. And for those people, you're going to have to actually line up that hole with where the air comes out of your mouth. Okay, so if that's you, and there are only a few of you, but if that is you, then that's what you're going to need to do. Okay? So again, you cover the hole, say poo, put your lip over the hole like that. Take a nice big, or firm these up, big breath from down here. Now, you might have to roll in or out. Okay. Notice that my lip and my flute are parallel to each other, like there's a line. Okay, so you want to line it up exactly directly like that. Okay. Now, the next fun thing that we're going to do is we're going to make that sound with the hand off here. And if you can get a nice solid sound, and you take your hand off of it, and it makes a really high sound. So I like to do this too sometimes. I take the whole of the flute, put it right in the center of my lips, then roll it down. Gotta make sure that my lip is kind of going over that edge right there. Okay, and okay, and I'm gonna do that. Okay, so that's kind of a fun and interesting sound. Now, by the way, I should have mentioned this right away in the beginning. If you want to stop the video and just kind of work on things in little chunks, that would be a great thing to do. So feel free to pause the video at any time so that you can do that. The next fun thing to do is you take your finger, if you get a good sound here, and you put your finger in there. That's kind of silly, but what we're going to do is we're going to make a slide whistle. Actually, I'm going to use my pinky because it's a little bit, my finger's too big to get in the hole. You guys have probably smaller fingers, I'm guessing, but okay, so I'm poo. Okay, put my finger in there, and I go. All right, so that's kind of a fun thing to do with your flute, making that kind of that slide whistle kind of sound. Okay, so this is the first part of day one, is just getting your head joint out, making sure that you can make the right formation with your lips, having it roll out a little bit like that, and putting it up here and getting sound. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to do on day one. One thing to make sure you're not doing is when you say poo, you don't go poo. I get a lot of flute players that put it up here and they go like that, like they tuck their lip in. We want it out, not in, out. Okay, because tuck it in. And notice how my lips are like wide open when I'm blowing. See, I have a really big open mouth. What you want to do is poo, have a tiny one. One thing that I do is I sometimes tell my students to get a straw and put the straw right in the center of your mouth and put your lips around it. And then pull it out. And that's the hole that you want, okay? So I'm gonna end the video right now here, and we're gonna go on. Today you're gonna also learn how to put the flute together. So that's kind of another important thing to learn on day one. But right now, we're gonna end this video and you can click on the next one.